Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh my gosh, it's good. It's good. It's good. Do you know? I don't know if I told you that I was going live in the mornings for the next, like this week.
Oh, I did not know.
Yes, I tagged you on, I went live I'm going live on Zoom and then streaming it to the Facebook group. And so like actually I was streaming it live to my personal page actually, but
Oh,
I'm just kind of like playing with it, but I tagged you in it. So but
I'm
but
terrible with Facebook. I'm
I know.
terrible.
It's okay. It's okay. That's why I have to like draw people's attention to it. Like, hey, look at this. But since you didn't see it at all yet, I will read you today's for August 1st. There's a message which I think is so amazing, but I wanted to share it with you and then we'll get to our questions. So, August 1st, it says to feel renewed, take a spiritual holiday, not away from life, but inside yourself, away from the obvious. So, I mentioned this today because I was like, well, we actually did take a spiritual holiday.
Yes, and I want to do it again.
Yay, good. We're coming up with dates. So we're still just tweaking our calendars. And we actually really wanted to do it down there in February, but it is like quadruple the price.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So we're
That makes
like,
sense.
what? They're like, unless you're willing to pay this much per room. We're like, holy smokes. Yeah, I don't think we're there yet.
Right.
So we're trying to think. I think I might keep the live component for myself, like when I'm physically able to be there in the summer. But so I can bring my girls, and then there will be another one, potentially in May where I can zoom in and be a compassionate listener.
Ah,
Um, yeah. So we're trying to do it like twice a year.
that is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So of course we'd love to have you again. But I would love to hear if you had any feedback or anything you wished was different or you liked or you
Oh, there's not anything that I wish that was different. I had such a great experience. I was lighter. My husband was like, you're standing taller, which is funny because now I feel like time has gone. So I'm starting to like slump down and
oh no, no something. Wait, I'm gonna write some of these things down so I can take some testimonials from you. That's
yes. And definitely feeling lighter,
mm-hmm.
feeling more energy, knowing, coming back to feeling blissful and not wanting to jump back in and to have all the excitement and energy and kind of keep things almost protected in a way that I don't have to say yes to that or I don't have to wear myself out. Um, this is something I know we're recording this, but my digestion has was the best ever on it. It was the best. And in fact, I meet with a nutritionist once a month and I just got off a phone call with her at noon. And I said, I don't know if it was the food, the cathartic nature, the tea, or something, but I want to go back. I mean, for so many reasons, I want to go back. And I've continued to keep like, my mornings of like very sacred and not rushing. Um, and when I talked even to my nutritionist about it, and I kind of told her, the overall scheme of like how I felt. And she said, everything that you experienced is what I tell my clients, like not eating fast, being mindful of food, right? So we were in silence and you were just enjoying it and you weren't rushing off. So you were able to have that. And in so many people and talking, they're like, I can never do that. And I said, absolutely, you can unplug from life. And the amount of people that were able to step up, either in a personal or work capacity, to just handle things. And people were like, oh, it was weird not hearing from you for a week, especially with work. But they were able to, it empowered others to like take out. So it's like, I don't know. I have nothing but just awesome, awesome things to say about it. I am, and there are, we'll talk about this later too, but I know that there's so many people in my circle that could benefit from it. And I also know that I don't know anyone's path. It was, it's not shared. It's very private. Um, so I don't know kind of what people were dealing with. So there was like a privacy and a protection and just the love and compassion. I don't know. I loved it. So I was like, when's the next time?
We are working on that. Helen and I just spoke this morning. And so wait, I love what you said, that it empowered others to take time for themselves. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, and it also empowered others that lean on you for different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people think that they can't step out for a week if it's work, family, children, friends, whatever your circle looks like,
Mm-hmm.
but you can. And it empowered me to really see, to kind of step back. So people handled things while I was gone. And I certainly didn't jump back in to be like, oh, give that back to me. And I want to be really busy and do this. So even work wise, the things that people kind of made decisions on their own, I've let them because I released the control of feeling like I'm so valuable to others. How is the world going to go on without me? It's going to go on and it needs to go on. Um, and and I think people really saw a difference in me. I had two people tell me I was glowing. So,
Oh my.
and feeling a slower pace and wanting to kind of protect the good feeling that I felt. It was like almost getting to base, and it's like, oh, this is what it is without all the garbage
Yeah.
that surrounds us.
So huge, so huge. Now you are allowed to share. We have our next meeting coming up on Monday. So I sent that out to you guys. And so you are allowed to share if you want to share, but it's just, yeah, I mean, we don't share it for you.
Yeah.
So, but if you want to, you can. So awesome, awesome, awesome. So, oh, that's so great. That's so great. So, what else? What else? How has your meditation practice been going?
It's been going good. The mornings are always kind of my protected time.
So,
And
what does
I'll
that
never,
look like for you? What does that mean?
so
What's
my protected time is, it is a little different because I don't have to physically go to the office. I do work from home. I
Mhm.
don't kind of start my day till like 9. So I get up and I don't have the frenzy of like, I'll never forget what you say, rush to take a shower, to brush your teeth, hop out of bed. Like that always runs through my head. So the first thing I really do is to be up by myself. And my routine is that I'm able to have that where it's just me for a little bit before things get going. I mean, we're empty nesters, but my husband, like he knows too, it's my sacred time. So he doesn't start in like, what do you have going on today? And what does the day look like? And ba, 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 ba. Like he's super respectful of that. And I sit outside in the morning and we've got
What
beautiful
time are
weather.
you talking?
Oh, I do it before 7. Yeah, so between 6 and 7, depending on kind of what's going on, I try to just really slow it down for myself before, like, I have a neighbor that loves to walk with me every morning. Um, Actually, at both houses, people are always like, "Do you want to walk in the morning?" And so I don't start to like you can reach out to me like 7:15, 7:30.
I
And
gotta do
then
that too.
yeah, and then I walk and I catch up with the neighbors and have breakfast. I found journaling can be done really at any time. So if the morning, if it looks like it, if there's something that pops up, it does not need to be in the morning. And I think that was kind of more my personality to be more rigid, like where are things going to kind of fit in so I can do everything, meditate, journal, walk the dogs, whatever, eat breakfast, do all the things. Um, so journaling was just like, okay, whenever I needed it, instead of, don't forget before you go to bed or first thing in the morning, to journal. Um, so
Have you
having,
continued your dialogues?
yes,
That's huge.
yes. And I still have the picture of myself when I was like 5 on the back of my phone, just to remind me, and it reminds you to be playful for sure. Especially in the summer. I'm like, be outside, swim, be playful.
Yeah.
It's
And
just a
you can be
reminder.
playful in your dialogues too. Not everything talking to love has to be doom and gloom, you know. It can
Yeah.
be just a celebration of like, goodness, I jumped, I did a cannonball into the pool today and it was amazing. You know, why not?
Why
Right?
not?
Why not? It can. And because it's important to remember that love is there to laugh with you, to be joyful with you. That's all love wants is for to be there for you, with you, through everything and anything, to let you know you are so not alone, and
Mm,
everything that your heart desires, love wants for you.
yeah.
Just pure joy and happiness and peace. And so if it means, running, hiking and smelling the flowers and jumping into the puddles or into
Yeah.
your, I mean, if you are there and experiencing that, or that like deep laughter that you laugh with another person that like makes your
Mm,
stomach hurt, right? You know that love is there laughing with you and enjoying that with you. And
yeah.
so it's so important that this concept of like loneliness,
Mm,
right? You can be in solitude and not feel lonely,
yeah.
right? I mean, in the mornings, your sacred time, you don't feel lonely.
No, not at all. And just that connection with myself. And we do have, obviously we face the woods, but we'll have like deer, not every morning, but they come up. So I'm always on the lookout for them. Or, we have a lot of cardinals. We have hummingbirds, and we don't even feed them, and they come up. We have bunnies. So I just love to be outside, even in the cooler mornings, with just like a blanket and just connecting with nature. Maybe I'll see something, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll close my eyes. Maybe they're open and I'm just kind of viewing everything. Um, I do suffer still with the impact, the heaviness of whatever. Last week was a heavy week for various reasons, and sometimes I feel, at the end of the day, like, like it was really hard for me. I started to feel that my energy that I gained back from the retreat, that the heaviness was starting to weigh me down. And this weekend, it was not filled with lots of things going on. And I felt myself be really tired. And I started to feel, and I knew to take it back. Is something going on with my, like, why am I so tired? Did I pick up something? Am I getting sick? And I was like, stop, stop. Like your body, just listen to your body, just take the rest that you need. But I didn't want to shift away from the feeling lighter, the feeling more energetic and protecting. When you walk out of the retreat, you're like, I want to feel like this forever. And so you don't want the world to kind of pull at you to have that heaviness kind of come back.
So then the question is, what do you describe as heaviness?
So
What is it?
yeah, so someone that I work with, her father passed away of pancreatic cancer on Wednesday.
Mm,
So
yeah.
so he passed, and she sent me out a text right away, which brings me to losing my mom of pancreatic cancer. So on Friday, my husband and I went out for a little ice cream date to a super popular place in Saratoga where there's always lines. And we were going to go to Stewart's, and we wound up going to Humpty Dumpty's in Saratoga.
Yeah, yeah. I know that.
And it was empty. So we go there, and my friend slash person that I work with, her daughter popped out. And it was only my husband and I, and her daughter popped out. And I was like, is your mom here? She said, yes.
Oh, like she works there?
No, she was like around the corner,
Oh, like a
and
customer.
nobody was there. There was no line. It was empty.
Mm.
And my friend slash employee, and I was like, is your mom there? She said, yes. So I saw her, she kind of grabbed me, and she just lost it. And she was like, I'm not okay. And we talked about the ugly, because she felt safe enough. And those are the things you don't talk about when someone leaves this world, the end, right? So she felt like she was in a safe space and really talked a lot about the final days and what it looked like. People keep it usually general, but she was very specific. And I wanted to let her, I wanted to be that for her, but it brought me back. And the heaviness, and she was like, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And it really, and I think that was part of me being tired, is like that emotion and bringing me back. And that was something I journaled about, the loss of my mom. And I journaled about, and I felt like it was cathartic, and I understood. And there was beauty out of it, of losing someone. And I was there, but I didn't let, what was interesting, I felt like I was the compassionate listener for her, because I just let her just go. And I didn't say anything. I just let her. She needed to hold my hand, and she needed to cry it out. And but it was hard. And I don't know if I'm an empath or what, but it was very hard for me to like shake off and not feel heavy from it. And we also had to unfortunately terminate someone, and it was literally on the same day. So here I am starting to feel like, oh, and this person begging for their job back. And it was really hard for me to compartmentalize, and to have like two heavy things where things were ending in different ways. Because I am I'm a very sensitive person. And I have a hard time not letting it affect me.
No, these are two really, really great examples. And I'm just curious, when you have to terminate someone, do you have like a script you use, or like what do you guys say to them?
Yes. So I did not handle it. I had someone in our HR department handle it. Less is more. And there was metrics that just weren't being made at all. There was an attitude, but that you can't really talk about, but if you're not doing your job, that can be talked about. It was interesting, this person just had no idea, and it was like, how could you not have any idea? Like, you signed this. Like, if you're not doing your job, you're not doing your job. There was an email sent to Dave and I, pleading for their job.
Back.
Oh yeah, pleading for their job back. Now, we're advised not to respond, right? Anything legally, you have to be very careful. Less is more. So this is somebody that's so desperate, and this person saw it coming. They had to see it coming.
And I'm sure they get like warnings and talks like beforehand to try to remediate ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was some miscommunication or misunderstanding of kind of what was trailing, kind of, hey, in New York State, we can terminate you for, it's an at-will state, and we can terminate you for anything. So that was really heavy, because she was kind of lobbying for others, for us to change our mind, others that she had reached out to. So, but we just knew that it was not a good fit.
Yeah.
And she's going to thrive someplace else. But that was really hard for somebody pleading to you, and you're like, no, 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 because
So do you, I love, you said it very quickly, but I think it's super duper important, which is you will thrive somewhere else.
yes,
Right. And so that's what I was wondering is like, do you, because do you mind if I give a little perspective on the situation?
absolutely.
Yeah. So the two common themes with both of those, right, is the end.
Yes, yes.
The
And they were back to back, like
back to
within
the end,
moments.
right? What does that, but let's take a big, humongous, giant step backwards and look at it from being the spectator, or what we can call the benevolent observer rather than detached observer. Let's look at it from the benevolent observer's standpoint. And this is something that I actually just recently learned that I think was really helpful, because you hear me talk about the detached observer, right? You've heard that concept.
Yeah.
And you've been through the 7 spiritual laws stuff, right? Okay. And so the detached observer role can sound very cold.
Yes.
It sounds kind of cold. And so I learned from this woman, she was like, what if we looked at it as the benevolent observer? And so if we took your employee, for example, right? And if you kind of forward pace yourself 5 years, right? And he or she will be wherever it is that their life journey is supposed to take them. And this is just a redirection for them that they are meant to follow a different path. Right? And so while, you can make something be the end and the finality of it all, or it could have been just another pebble on their mountain journey that they're walking on.
Yes.
Right? And so, and I know that person may see it very differently, but it is a perspective to think about. And in fact, I just had a call with another gal who's a physician who got diagnosed with a huge physical condition and left her residency. Like, she stopped and she's like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. Like, I can't believe I'm not doing what I signed up to do. And now I'm like totally fumbling, and it's like, is a divine, and she has all these feelings of like failure and not good enough and unworthiness and why, and victimhood. Why is this happening to me, right? Which I'm sure your employee likely has many of those same feelings, and all of that is bullshit, right? Like all of that is just chatter, negative chatter that doesn't serve you. What if, wouldn't it be nice if we could look at life through the lens of wonder and curiosity and be like, wasn't expecting this. Okay. I wonder what's next for me.
Yeah.
Rather than clinging to what was, right? So that brings us to your friend whose mother passed, right? Who's not okay. Of course not, right? And we all know it's not okay. But can we be okay? We can't, right? So many people, when they're so attached to that one that is whose soul is in transition, are clinging. Just like that employee of yours is writing you emails, clinging to you, right?
Yes. Can I come back?
Yeah, same thing we do with people we are attached to, right? Don't leave, don't die, don't do everything, do anything, right? But at what cost, right? Like, what if her mother her soul was still in the body being digested by pancreatic cancer in a bed, in a hospital bed, attached to machines, right? Is that what we want? No. None of us want that, right? And so is there a benefit here? Is there for the soul? And maybe even for your friend, right? Maybe it's too early to talk about that, but there will be,
Yeah, and I did share with, looking when my mom passed, and I did say this to my friend. I said, I feel like my mom sacrificed her life for our family to really be close. I travel with my brothers now. Next weekend, we're going to Killington. Like before, we were always running around and being so busy, so busy. But when she was sick, we came around, and her family, they rallied around her dad. And she has, I want to say either two or three brothers. The family structure is the same, that she's the only girl, and then she has brothers. And I said, I bet you have to give it time, but you'll see that you and your brothers, because her mom was there too. Her daughter and her mom were there. So there's 3 generations. That your family will probably be closer with this. It really will. And you'll start to see, you will start to see. But I mean, here it is, Wednesday afternoon, it happened. 48 hours later, she's at the ice cream shop. And we kept on saying, like, what a blessing that it was for just her and I to be able to connect. And instead of going to services when there's 50 or 100 people giving their condolences, and to say, and to be able to really talk, because as soon as her dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, I was one of the first, because she knew what my mom had passed with. So she was, kind of, and she, you know, oh, and I was always there for her, but she always kept me informed. And everybody's different. Everyone's path for whatever it is, just because the diagnosis is the same, is really different. But anyways, I think she's yeah, she's got to be angry, and but she couldn't be around her family. Like her mother was there, so she turned her back to me and was kind of whispering, because she didn't want to upset her mom. And of course,
who's lost her husband?
no, it was it's Lori's dad. Right. Yes. So her mom lost her husband. Yeah. And she was super sweet, but I know, like, my friend just really wanted to be like, I'm angry. And I was like, that's okay. But she didn't want to do it in front of her mom. So she kind of, so,
Right. And that's important, right? We know it's important to work through that anger. And what a service that you provided for her to be able to hold that space. So now the question is, how do we let it not get deeply absorbed like a sponge into us?
Yes.
Right.
Because it was hard because she was angry and I was like, oh, I don't feel angry. Of course I did. Of course I did. Because that's the stages. But I was like, should I feel like, should I be angry now? Huh. Should I evoke those feelings about my situation that I had unpacked during the silent retreat and I was at peace with? And, it has been years since my mom has passed, so I certainly have a lot more time. But I let both of these situations kind of come in to let me absorb, I guess, the negative energy.
So this is super, super, super common. And one of the biggest teachings in spiritual wisdom is to not let the sorrow of others be absorbed by you.
Yeah.
And that may sound cold, but it's not. Because when you absorb the sorrow, it is difficult for you to shine your light. Okay, so there's a difference between sympathy, empathy, and compassion. Right. So sympathy, so sorry for your loss. Sucks to be you. Right. Empathy is where you were at, right? I feel your pain. I feel your anger. I feel your disheartenment and your disappointment, which is okay, right? And we're taught, especially in healthcare, we have courses on it, empathy. You have to show empathy to your patients. You have to show empathy to your employees. You have to show empathy, empathy, empathy. And if, that's when we end up with a bunch of fatigue and heaviness, right?
Yes.
And so how do we transform that empathy, right, into compassion? And it's the ability to know, and this is where this knowledge comes in, that you are a soul, that employee is a soul, your friend is a soul, her mother or her dad is a soul, and that they are eternal, they are immortal. In their highest essence, they are beings of love, peace, joy, and understanding. And we are all actors and on the stage of life, the drama of life. And it's like, oh, here's this scene for this person. I was in that scene 10 years ago, losing the mother, the soul,
And I
right?
even go back to that scene.
It's very easy to go back to that scene if you want
Yeah.
to. I mean, you unpacked a lot, you've been through it. You don't have to. And it doesn't make you a bad person if you don't. If you choose to hold the space and stay light about it, understanding the bigger spiritual wisdom picture of this is a soul in their life, this is the scene that they're in, this is the chapter that they're in, like you're watching a movie,
Right.
and knowing as a benevolent observer and having the strong faith that everything is happening for a reason and a purpose, and it's serving. So even though this looks really bad right now, trusting that no matter what, all will be well, right? When you were in the depths of your grief for your mother, you weren't thinking about the fact that however many years later, a good friend, that you'd be able to hold the space for your good friend to unload a little bit. right?
Yeah.
You're not thinking about that, about how your experience in the moment, like your friend's not thinking about that either right now.
Right.
But she's going to be able to do that if she chooses to.
Yeah. And she was definitely vulnerable with me, and I just, like, kind of took that energy, like I said, and, "Gee, should I be angry?" You know, I was at peace, and I just let it just kind of, like, seep in where I just needed a minute to kind of let it, and we were there for about an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and it was you know, and both of us were like, "What a blessing that just we were the only ones there." A Friday night ice cream shop, and we were the only ones there? Like, that is, you know, the blessing for us to just connect like that, to be for me to really be able to say, "I am so sorry," and for her to give her the space, but I just let it seep in a little bit too much,
Mhm.
that it just made me like,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and it's also important, like, so the first thing is in your head, you're not telling these people this, but for you to recognize that this is the drama of life. We are all actors, right? This is the scene that they're in. Of course, in the scene, in the drama, there has to be deep feelings, right? And so
Yes.
a little bit of that, but deep detached observer, like, yes, that person is feeling angry, yes, that person is begging for their job back, okay, yes, okay, got it. And having being the benevolent observer, saying, I know that this employee, there is a place for them that is going to be so much better and so much of a better fit, that's going to bring them to a highest good for them, right?
And she'll thank
So,
us.
and that's what that employee needs in the
Yeah.
moment, is that faith and support in them, either verbally, like, not, you don't have to say it, but just that energetic faith that I know you can do this and I know there's a better place for you, right? To like have that for them. That's how you want to send them on their way. In the same way, we want to send that father, right, or your mother on their way of have a beautiful transition, have a beautiful journey, and we love you and we will remember you and you will be felt and you will be here forever and ever and ever and ever. And it's okay. It's okay. Right? And so having just that, it's okay. So those little strategies there can help you not have to go into the depths.
Hmm.
And also, it's important to give yourself permission. You got a lot of rest when we were in the path of silence. I'm hoping you took a bunch of naps and
I
whatever.
did.
Yes, exactly. And so, and as a feminine energy, we need a lot of rest.
Yes.
We do. It's just a fact, just the way our hormones cycle, just the way all of it. Okay. Even if you're not, even if you're in menopause, it doesn't matter. Just energetically, the female energy, the feminine energy needs a lot of beauty sleep. I tell my girls all the time, we need our beauty rest. And so it's okay. Of course, you are going to need more rest when you come into the drama of life, and it
Right.
is going to be draining. So giving yourself permission to take a nap.
Yeah. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for just reviewing and talking. It definitely makes sense, because feeling exhausted this weekend, and like I said, is it medical? And I'm like, I know it's not medical.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Um, so but I did let it take my energy, and to be more protective of that energy, to be present for that person, but not to take it in either situation, to take it on. And I think it let me, because Dave and I are very compassionate and giving. And this is, especially in the terminating of the employee, it is not easy. We do not take it lightly. But I think when someone's like holding on to you, and both cases,
It's,
like my
it's
friend,
done.
yeah,
It's over.
was literally holding my hand at the ice cream place, and then, by email kind of holding on to us. that to see that desperation, it's hard to just be like, just go.
Totally.
Different situations, but I appreciate you talking because it makes sense, and it makes total sense what it does physically to you. And I think that was to the path of silence, for the retreat, is to not have that negative kind of weigh you down. And that's why at the end, feeling so free, my husband's like, I think you're taller, and people are glowing. And I was more chatty, and it was funny too, because even like friends that maybe I don't know if it's the summer or whatever, but a lot of people were just like reaching out to me too. And I was like, huh, I must be giving out very positive vibes.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And so it's yeah, like, through that process, because you allow the feelings to come, and then we wrap it up with the forgiveness, right? It has to happen, right? And so you can go through that process for yourself. And there was something else I was going to say. What was it? What was it? It's okay to take your naps, and then just
Talk about the feminine energy and just needing more
yeah,
rest.
yeah, it's totally fine to do that. What was it? I don't know. It just like flew out of my head. Weird. Okay. So just flew out of my head. I don't know. But it's just that self-care part. Like I know even for myself after since I've gone part-time, I give myself permission on my days off to take a nap.
Yeah.
Like if I'm feeling, even like before our call today, I closed my eyes for 20 minutes and I wasn't trying to meditate. I was like, I'm going to lay down and I'm going to just close my eyes for a little bit, because I am now more oh, I know what I was going to tell you. So when you're in a situation where you know that it's going to be like, this is going to be tough, right? There's certain strategies that you can use for yourself. Now, depending on which way you want to go, like I used to talk a lot about angels, like Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, right? Archangel, do you know anything about the archangels?
No, I mean, I know of them, but I don't.
So they're wonderful beings out there, all there just for our service. And so Archangel Michael is our protector, right? So like, you get into a car and I'll be like, or in an airplane, Archangel Michael, just like keep us safe during this ride. Archangel Michael, just keep me safe, on this car ride, whatever it is, right? Before I shock somebody, I'm like, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. Archangel Raphael is the physician archangel. I'm like, come on down, let's support this heart, right? And I even tell the patients sometimes, I'm like, I don't do this by myself. Are you kidding me? I get all the archangels to watch you. And they're always laughing. And so there's that. Or you can tell love in your head, love, help me be open and compassionate, but not take in the sorrow and not bring it with me.
Yes.
Please let that sorrow be seen and transformed and
Mhm.
burned like we did at the end of the ceremonies, right?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
burned everything in the fire. We transformed all that sadness and anger and all sorrow into ashes through the fire, through that sacred fire. So as somebody is right, let it be transformed into love, and and give them that prayer, of please envelop them in your warm embrace,
Yeah.
and know that they are not alone, and know that they are safe. And so when we give that prayer to them, it also helps shield us from taking in all of that and like being flat on the ground.
Right. Because you feel like you need to be almost kind of be in there as you're moving through the feelings. But I also know the connection, um, which we've certainly talked about, what it does to your physical, the physical body. And it's just, and I know like what it does for me. But yeah, that that definitely makes sense. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
And so that's the part of the compassion that isn't ever discussed when we talk about empathy, right? Because we feel the other person's feelings and then it stops there. So we've absorbed all this negativity and it's like, right? Whereas when we have compassion, right, and mercy, mercy is unlimited disinterest in another person's weakness, okay, and having unlimited interest in their strength and their true self. So when you can be that soul conscious observer, they're a soul, I'm a soul, right? And then that prayer for them, you tie it up in your head. You know, you don't have to say it. You can if it feels right, but sometimes I do with my patients, but you know, you give them that prayer that may and loving kindness. So there is a have you ever heard of loving kindness?
Yes.
So you know the meditation, which is may you be safe, may you be healthy, may you be happy, may you live with ease. So I used to do this with my daughters every night when I was putting them to bed. We would be like, may daddy be safe, may daddy be healthy, may daddy be happy, may we live. And so I always add, may we live with ease, joy, love, and kindness.
Mm.
So giving that like to that soul, may you be safe, may you be healthy, may you be happy, may you live with ease, joy, love, and kindness, can help lift some of that heaviness as well, you know. But also at the end of a long day where your battery has been getting used up, it's a lot. It's a lot. And so giving yourself that compassion and grace too, that okay, I can recharge. It's okay for me to sleep in a little extra or take an extra nap during the day. It's okay.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's totally okay. It's not in our culture, you know? Like we ask people, do you take naps in the middle of the day as if it's like a pathologic issue?
Right.
For some people it is. For some people it is. But this, what we're talking about is, it's totally fine. As long as you're refreshed afterwards.
Mm. Right.
That makes sense?
It's the brain to turn off a little bit.
To relax, giving it permission. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Giving it permission to rest. Yes. It's a lot. Let's just rest, you know, and then meditate.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that place, you can meditate with your mantra, and or in addition to, you can add that loving kindness into it too, to tie it all up and wrap it all up.
And I think that's why like the morning meditation is so much easier because you have rested.
Yes.
You want to like meditate to fall asleep, where in the evening and your energy is low and it's hard to not want to take a nap, but you're refreshed and you're clear. And I'm a morning, so I always think that the morning is just a clean slate.
So you know what's so interesting? So part of the spiritual like tradition stuff that I'm part of, like they all get up at like 3:30 in the morning to meditate. Oh yeah, they get up at like 3:30 in the morning to meditate, and you know, they basically start their day, but they all take a 3-hour nap in the middle of the day, from like 2 to 5. It's like, or 1 to 4. It's like go to sleep, right? And
Right.
then they do their evening routine and they meditate again in the evening. So nobody is, you know, trying to meditate when they're really sleepy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I think for me, when I first started, much of the help that meditation gave me was because I was falling asleep, which is fine because it means
Right.
it's a huge deep rest that I needed. But now the meditations are so much more impactful.
Mm.
Nap and then get up and do it,
Right.
you know? So yeah, it's interesting for sure. So awesome. So we're coming up on our time. I'm going to stop this recording.